Alrighty, so I just got back from seeing Avatar, Fire and Ash, and I gotta say...
Wait for it. Here it comes. Almost there!
It's pretty good. Not my favorite of the bunch, kinda had a lot of rehashing from the previous movie, way too much going on at any given moment, that sort of thing, but overall, a fun 3 hours and change at the movies. I'd love to know what you thought of it down in the comments, but right now, I've got some business to get to. Ending explained business, you dig? So, here's my quickish breakdown of Fire and Ash's final moments, what it all means for the Sully fam, and how it sets the stage for the future of the franchise. The finale of Fire and Ash is a chaotic, multi-layered conflict that converges around the home of the Metkayina, where there's a big ol' Flux Devil that pulls metal into the sky, something that doesn't go great for the RDA. Whereas last time the battle was between the Na'vi and the RDA, or Sky People, this time our boy Jimmy Cameron has thrown in a third element. The Ash People. Led by the highly volatile Varang, the Ash People, or Mangquan, are a clan that has turned their back on the goddess Eywa, viewing her not as a protector but as a deity who abandoned them to the harsh volcanic wastes of their region. This makes them natural allies for Colonel Miles Quaritch and the RDA. General Ardmore and the RDA provide the Mangquan with advanced weaponry, while Varang provides the local knowledge and ferocity needed to corner Jake Sully's family. The battle reaches its peak when Jake realizes the only way to unite the fractured Na'vi resistance is to reclaim his mantle as Toruk Makto. Returning to the so-called Last Shadow allows Jake to lead a coalition of clans against the RDA Ash Alliance. It actually seems like Jake and pals will wind up with an easy win until the Mangquan arrive to muddy the waters. With blood. Whole bunch of action happens. That one-armed douchebag whaler from the previous movie, he gets taken down into the depths of the ocean by a Tulkun a la Captain Ahab. It's super rad. It's a big old thing. A real symphony of destruction. During the battle, the Metkayina matriarch Ronal gets hit by one of the RDA's little missile thingies. Up to this point, Ronal has been antagonistic towards Neytiri, as she blames the Sully family for bringing war to the Metkayina. However, it's Neytiri who stands guard and helps Ronal give birth to her baby, whom she names Prill, just before dying from her wounds. Oh, and she entrusts Neytiri to take care of the newborn, which is a heck of a challenge, because man, shit just keeps piling up. While all this is happening, Kiri, she connects with Eywa underwater using the spirit tree, something that she's been told could kill her. Luckily, she gets some assistance from Spider and Took, who also connect with the spirit tree and help Kiri make it through a mental forest to finally gaze upon the glorious visage of Eywa. This brings forth the powers of Eywa, allowing Kiri to call on a bunch of undersea nightmare fodder to take down the RDA. Seriously, it's like a freaking Lovecraft adaptation up in this bitch. It's amazing. It's pretty much immediately after Ronal dies that Quaritch and Varang show up with little Took, forcing Neytiri to give herself up. Now I'm gonna shoot straight with you. I don't remember how Took gets captured. She just does. There's a lot of Sully kids getting captured and saved in this sucker. It's a little confusing. This all eventually leads to Jake fighting Quaritch on an RDA ship, where Kiri gets the upper hand on Varang, who just kind of disappears, presumably horrified by Kiri's connection to Eywa. It's in this scene that we also get the most direct pop cultural reference in the whole Avatar series, when Kiri saves Neytiri from Varang and delivers the epic line, "Get away from my mother, you." Of course, echoing Sigourney Weaver's own dialogue from Aliens.
Get away from her, you.
Anywho, the ship they're all fighting aboard gets caught in the Flux Devil, which leads to Jake, Quaritch, and Spider continuing their struggle high up on a bunch of floating rocks, where Spider proves he's very much over his dad by shooting him in the arm with an arrow. Spider winds up falling from one of the rocks, but is saved by Quaritch, who in turn is saved by Jake, leading to all three setting aside their differences for the moment. Another plot beat that occurs quite a bit in Fire and Ash. Finally, Quaritch seems about ready to give in to Jake's constant monologuing about the beauty of family and unity or whatever, when Neytiri and the rest of the fam bam show up and threaten his life, leading to Quaritch jumping off the rock and falling into the fiery, wreckage-strewn sea below. Of course, we don't see him die, so dude is very much still out there, ready to go for even more Avatar sequels. So the battle's won, albeit with heavy losses. Not too heavy though. The only main cast deaths I noted were Ronal and this kid Ratso, I think is how you say it. I had to look up his name. so pardon me if I pronounce it like a filthy casual. So while the stakes were high for this fight, our hero characters remain largely unchanged, although I'll get back to that in a second. The actual ending of Avatar: Fire and Ash involves Spider and a bunch of Na'vi, including Kiri, connecting to the spirit tree and meeting all the dead Na'vi, as well as Grace. Spider finally gets what he wants, to be an organic part of the Na'vi, and also maybe getting himself a hot teenage Na'vi girlfriend. We'll see how that pans out. Did I mention that this is the most overtly sexual entry in the franchise? Spider and Kiri share a kiss at one point, as well as a tickle fight that feels like it has quite a bit of chemistry behind it, so I guess look forward to those two bump and ponytail uglies in the sequel. On the other side of the conflict, Quaritch and Varang match each other's freak, something the internet has already noticed and taken a hold of, and we even see them snuggling post-coitus. This really has nothing to do with the ending, I just wanted to talk about blue aliens banging. Anyway, that's enough sexy blue cat people, let's dig into where this all leaves us. First off, can we just talk about Neytiri's transformation into being less of an unabashed racist? I thought it was kinda hilarious that she's so hateful toward the Sky People that she can't recognize the fact that Jake is a human and that their kids are all five-fingered freak babies. That is until Jake calls her out on it, and though in the moment she condemns their human side, she eventually lets the fire of her hatred burn through her, allowing her to accept Spider with the traditional Na'vi greeting, "I see you." It's the arc that most directly relates to the main theme of the film, that fire or hatred must eventually burn away for life to take hold. Now, I didn't really talk about Loak much in my summary of the ending, and that's probably because I found the character to be the most boring of the bunch, even when he's darkening the movie's tone by nearly offing himself. I don't know what it is exactly, but I'd just much rather watch Quaritch getting high and Kiri communing with Eywa than watch this kid be distraught over the death of his brother. Still, he has a pretty strong arc over the course of the story. He begins Fire and Ash as a rebellious youngster, angling for his father's approval, but consistently falls short. Notably, he keeps forgetting to wear his comms, which Jake is a real jerk about. Little dude eventually gains Daddy-O's respect, however, thanks in no small part to his greatest feat, making a big ol' speech to the Tulkun and convincing them to give up their non-violence pact in order to defeat the RDA. Loak is, or Loak? Is it Loak or Loak? Who cares? Loak is also the narrator of this entry, showing that the franchise really is all about family. This is a story that will continue beyond Jake and Neytiri, which is a really nice sentiment, which would have maybe hit a little harder if Jake, I don't know, sacrificed himself for the greater good or whatever, if something had happened. Anyway, enough Loak, moving on to Kiri. She was previously closed off and afraid of her connection to Eywa, but over the course of the film, she becomes more and more confident in her God-given abilities. She also learns more about her heritage, the fact that she has no biological father and was actually created when Eywa attempted to save Grace's life. By the end, she's able to channel Eywa's power, cementing her role as a spiritual bridge for the Na'vi. I get the feeling this will turn into its own conflict as the franchise progresses. Spider, meanwhile, is sort of the emotional linchpin of the finale. He also kinda just magically gets what he wants. He starts off having to breathe through a mask to survive Pandora's air, only for Eywa to grant him the ability to breathe it just fine. He even gets his own Kuru, something that would be horrifying body horror in any other film, but which here is a heartwarming surprise. Jake, well, Jake just wants to live a chill life with his family, but of course, with the RDA and now the Ash people breathing down his neck, he's forced to conclude that he can't just give up the title of Toruk Makto, and he gets back together with his old giant banshee buddy to unite the clans and all that jazz. Pretty standard issue hero stuff there. So, anyway, I'm out of time, so suffice it to say that Avatar 3 does a great job setting up the next two films, which James Cameron has confirmed will include another time jump. By the end of this film, Varang and the Mangkwan, they remain a threat, while the human city Jake escapes from is still there and still being expanded upon. Humanity also now has knowledge that it's possible for humans to gain the ability to breathe Pandoran air, and so stronger colonization efforts are bound to occur. Kiri also seems like she's going to become a target target of the RDA, as her connection to Eywa is key to that aforementioned process. So yeah, the point of all this is that Avatar Fire and Ash concludes not with a total victory, but with a pivot toward a larger, more complex struggle. The Na'vi have survived the fire, but they must now navigate the ash of a changing world where the lines between Sky People and Native are becoming increasingly blurred. Yeah, anything I missed? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching ScreenRant.